Well, good morning to everyone, and my very warmest welcome. It's such a pleasure to see all of you here today. I'm Ileana Smith, Delaware Tech Vice President and Campus Director for the Owens campus. This is a very special day. It's a day that we celebrate a remarkable accomplishment. Today, we open a new building, we start a new program, and we name this facility in honor of a world-class human being. It is fitting to make the first introductions of the day be the friends and family of Ted Freeman, this building's namesake. So please hold your applause until I get them standing as a group. I'd like to introduce Ted Freeman's daughter, Faith. Faith Johnson, please stand. Ted's grandson, Tyler Hershap. I believe we have two of Ted's nephews here, Bruce Freeman, Brooke Freeman, and we're also delighted to have Ted's best friend, Joe Hudson, with his two grandsons, Christian and Jamin. You honor us with your presence today. The opening of this building is another chapter in the story of the college's leadership in the field of aviation maintenance for our great state of Delaware. It's another chapter that inspires and validates that the impossible becomes possible when people work together. Collaboration, responsiveness, and speed have been the essence of this story that started as an idea in 2006 with zero resources. The idea is based on what your community college is all about. The idea is based on a need for a job to be filled. And it's an honor for me to introduce someone who understands the significance of this story, someone who has given it leadership, focus, and support, someone who has dedicated his 45-year career to making this college a force for good in the state of Delaware. Please welcome President Lonnie George.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. This is a great day. We're going to put some folks to work as a result of this great partnership. This is a very special event, and it really does demonstrate the power of collaboration and good things that can happen when the private sector, public sector come together, committed to working together. And I want to join Ileana in a very special, warm welcome to the family and friends of Ted Freeman. I want to make a few introductions here today. I know you all understand the protocol of introducing our elected and appointed officials. We have, and I'll be introducing in a few minutes, the first citizen of our state, Governor Jack Markell. Welcome, Governor. And our Congressman, John Carney. John, welcome. Thank you for being here. From the legislature, I'm going to ask them to please stand, and we'll recognize them as a group. From the state Senate, we have Bob Venables, Gary Simpson, Brian Pettyjohn, and Gerald Hocker. And from the state House, we have Speaker Pete Schwarzkopf, John Atkins, Tim Dukes, Ron Gray, Steve Smick, and Dave Wilson. Thank you for everything you do for this county and for the state. We have cabinet members, partners in the director, the Secretary of Economic Development, Alan Levin. Alan, please. and the Executive Director of the Delaware River and Bay Authority, Scott Green. Scott, welcome. I know you're here. He's in the back. From our county government, great partners. I'm going to talk a little more about that in a minute. Oops, I lost your remote thing, Ileana, sorry. From County Council, President Mike Vincent, members of council, Vance Phillips, Sam Wilson, Joan Deaver, the county administrator, Todd Lawson, and we also have two former county administrators that it has been my pleasure to work with, and that's Dave Baker and Bob Stickles. Thank you all for being such great partners, Delaware Tech. We also have two members of our Board of Trustees with us. Mark Stellini, the chairman of our board, is here, and Dr. Bucky Owens, trustee. Welcome and thank you for everything you do for Delaware Tech. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here and joining us today. Each of you truly understands the unique mission of this college to connect Delawareans with jobs. Like the Power Plant program, every program at Delaware Tech is in direct response to the workforce needs of the state or of the particular county. Especially in today's economy, it takes everyone committed to working together to make sure that we protect the jobs we have, support opportunities for new jobs, and provide our residents with the education they need to be successful in these positions. When we work together, everyone wins. Delawareans get jobs, make good salaries, and contribute to the economy. Delaware's businesses get a well-educated workforce that keeps them competitive and successful. And the community benefits because folks that have good-paying jobs take care of their families and become contributing members of their community. Delaware Tech's unique mission of connecting Delawareans with jobs makes us a linchpin in the state's workforce and economic development. We deliver the solutions needed to build and maintain a vibrant state economy. And over the past few years, the college has been listening very closely and responding to the needs of the aviation industry. And yes, folks, there is an aviation industry in Delaware. As you know, in 2009, we developed an FAA-certified program that prepares students to maintain the shell of the airplane or the airframe. The college has now expanded our successful aviation maintenance program to include power plant to teach students to maintain the engine. Offering both airframe and power plant gives our graduates more opportunities to work for companies who are seeking both sets of skills. Today, we dedicate this incredible facility, the place where future graduates will learn the additional skills needed to meet the needs of aviation companies in the county, in the state, and indeed in the region. In fact, graduates of the airframe program, and I believe several of our students are here with us this morning, and I'd like them to please stand so that we can recognize them. Where are our graduates and students? Please stand. Everyone in this room joins you in wishing each of you every success in life. But Delaware Tech has not expanded this program by ourselves. It's taken partnerships to respond to ever-changing workforce needs. Development of the power plant offering was made possible by an incredible collaboration of private, county, state, and federal funds with support from our governor, our Director of Economic Development, members of the state legislature, Sussex County Council, and our congressional delegation. Amazing. That's what it takes to pull this all together. Each of these valued partners completely understand the college's role and share in our belief that when people are given access, opportunity, excellence, and hope to attain educational excellence, they will succeed. And for that reason, they all played an important part in getting this program up and running in record time. I want to take a few moments to recognize some of the key contributions here. You know, at Delaware Tech, we're a big believer in thanking people as many times as we can, and this is such a case here. Number one, Sussex County Council provided the much-needed land that we stand on, and that's not the first time that Sussex County Council has stepped up as a partner. Number two, through private funds anonymously donated, we were then able to build this impressive hangar. Number three, through a grant, the United States Department of Labor financed the equipment like the trainers and the airplanes. And we're very grateful to Senator Carper, Senator Coons, Congressman Carney for supporting the funding to turn this building into a state-of-the-art instructional facility. And number four, it was Dido and Alan Levin who, having recognized the growing need for a skilled aviation labor force in the state and region, really literally moved mountains to make sure that the college was successful with a $550,000 grant to double the size of the program. The college will now be able to graduate 24 students skilled in both airframe and power plant every year. 24 graduates every year. Our special thanks also to Senator Bob Venables for his role as a champion of this program. Now, there are two other groups that I have not introduced and thanked individually, but I need to recognize for the critical role they play in making all of this happen. One is my great team at Delaware Tech, and they are a great team, folks. They would be the envy of any president of any community college anywhere in this country. I am so very proud of each of you. These are the individuals, along with their colleagues on the campuses, who have made the college the success that it is today. So I'd like the members of my cabinet, faculty, staff, administrators, please stand so that we can thank you for everything you do for the people of this great county and state. Now, my team does not do this alone. A vital part of our success includes the community leaders who work hand in hand, day in and day out, to help advance the mission of the college. Members of our Development Council, the college's Legacy Society, the employers of our graduates, and the knowledge experts from the Aviation Maintenance Advisory Committee are with us today. And I want to ask that they stand so that we can thank you for making this program possible. Please stand. And let me say how grateful we are to have Ted Freeman's family and friends here with us today. Faith, family members, Joe, we want you to know that the college is honored. We are honored to carry on the Freeman legacy with the naming of this building. We will make you proud. My special thanks to each of you and all the partners for your incredible support of this program. Even during tough economic times, there are investments that have to be made because they take us out of these difficult times to a better future. Programs like this are one of these investments. Investments in people, in Sussex Countyans, in Delawareans, and in our business community. The people of Sussex County and throughout Delaware can take great pride in seeing all of us work together for the betterment of our county and our state. Thank you all for being here this morning. And now it is my pleasure to introduce to you the first citizen of our first state. And I thought about, the many ways one can introduce your governor, and I know he wants me to be brief. But folks, I got to tell you something. What a delight it has been for me and for the members of my team to work with Jack Markell and the members of his team. There is this can-do, positive, attitude. I know every morning he gets up, he thinks about jobs for Delawareans. Thank you, Governor, for being such a great partner with Delaware Tech. You can count that will continue. Ladies and gentlemen, the governor of our great state, Jack Markell.
Thank you, Lonnie. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. So first of all, to the Freeman family and friends, thank you for being here today, and thank you for allowing us to honor Ted Freeman. And as Lonnie said, what an incredible legacy this building is, and more important than the building, what an incredible legacy these folks are who will be going through this program in years to come. So thank you all very much. To Ileana, thanks for your great leadership here. You have been a tremendous leader at this campus for a very long time, and we're grateful to all that you have done. And to Lonnie, you all just heard a quintessential Lonnie George set of remarks, because he spent all of his time thanking other people and acknowledging the work that everybody else does. His team, the board, community members, the legislators and the congressional delegation, everybody. He never spends any time talking about himself. And we will have an opportunity in coming months as Lonnie prepares to step down from Delaware Tech to honor his absolutely tremendous contributions here over a very long period of time. But Lonnie, this is the first time that we've been together since your announcement. And I have every confidence that everybody who is in this hangar right now would like to join me in expressing to you our appreciation for the fantastic work you've done. This announcement today is so exciting on a number of levels. And you've already heard about some of them, about what happens when we collaborate together between different levels of government. In this case, it was pretty much every level of government that affects Delaware. When we work with this wonderful community college, with the business community, and others. And in this particular case, this fabulous investment is a direct response to what we have been hearing from this wonderful aviation industry in Delaware now for a few years. And as Lonnie said, maybe the people in this room do know, but there are plenty of Delawareans who don't know about what kind of aviation industry we have. Right here, Pat's Aircraft, a fabulous employer who I'll be talking about again in a few minutes. But in other parts of the state, Dassault Falcon, Hawker Beechcraft, Summit Aviation, Greenwich Aero Capital, employing hundreds and hundreds of Delawareans in really good jobs. And as I had the opportunity a few weeks ago to mention in my State of the State speech, one that was very focused, as everybody wants it to be, on job creation, the first chunk of that was around workforce development. And this idea of listening to our employers and understanding the kinds of skills that they're looking for in the marketplace today and the kinds of skills that they anticipate needing in the future is what it's all about. And I think this particular announcement in this building, this partnership between the industry and our fabulous award-winning Delaware Tech is Exhibit A of the way that government is supposed to work. We're supposed to listen to businesses. They tell us the kinds of skills they're looking for. They tell us what kinds of credentials our people need to demonstrate that they've got those skills. And we work with them closely to design the curriculum, to recruit the folks, to build the buildings, to make sure we've got the equipment for them to train on. And that's what this is all about. And I think you couldn't find a better example of how it's supposed to work. Now, one of the things I love, again, and this really is to Lonnie's credit and his contributions over the years, this is one announcement. This is not the only one. In recent years, Delaware Tech has done similar things around manufacturing, and Mark Brainerd was just telling me this morning, they've already got 15 high school students to participate in a new manufacturing-oriented partnership. There's one around energy efficiency. I got a tour of their energy efficiency building and met the young people who are being retrained there. Around dentistry, you all know you can't go to a hospital in this state without being touched by somebody, literally touched by somebody, who has gone to Delaware Tech. But it's this constant listening to local businesses to hear what they need and figuring out how we can collectively invest in our people that we're going to make the progress. And so I congratulate everybody who's associated with this. But I have to say as well, I was speaking earlier to John Martin of Pat's about what this means to that local, really important employer, an employer here in Sussex County with more than 300 employees. And we know that when you're talking about jobs in Sussex County, and one of the things I know every member of the General Assembly who's here, I'm sure one of the things that you hear from your constituents more than anything else is everybody wants there to be opportunities for our young people to grow up here in Sussex County. If they want to go for additional education, maybe they go out of state, maybe they stay here, maybe they go to Delaware Tech. But what we all want is we want opportunities for them to come back home, not literally home, but near home, and build a career and build a life here. Isn't that what we all want? And that depends upon having good jobs. And so in the case of Pat's, which is a terrific employer, as I mentioned, more than 300 employees right here in Georgetown. John said one of the key things and why this is so great for them is because they're always looking for skilled people. These jobs require a very high level of skill. But he pointed out, he has an opportunity to add more than an additional 100 people if we can land if we can land bigger airplanes at this airport. If we extend the runway, which means having to move Park Avenue, we could put more people to work here. 757s could land here. They would build a bigger hangar and put between 100 and 150 additional people to work. And so it's one thing and unbelievably important for us to invest in the human capital. And I think it was great that Lonnie asked some of the students and graduates to stand up and to be recognized. But we want more. We want more of you. And we have an opportunity for there to be 100 more or 150 more if we extend this runway an additional 500 feet and build another hangar and put all those people to work. But that means we also have to invest in infrastructure. So we're going to invest in the human capital, but we want all those people to have places to work, and we want them to have more planes to work on. But we can only have bigger planes to work on if we have a longer runway. So I've proposed over the last few weeks, as some of you have seen, to an additional investment in transportation infrastructure in the state of Delaware. Safer roads, safer bridges, better paving, and an extension of this runway. But the thing is, we can't do that for free. And as nice as it would be for there to be a free lunch, where we just make the investment, but we don't have to pay for it, or we expect the next generation to pay for it, that's not how it works. So I'm asking, and when I was speaking to John and talking about this, he said how unbelievably helpful an additional 500 feet would be. And he literally said 500 feet more means 100 more employees, or 150 more employees. That's what we're talking about. So I'm hoping, and I know that my proposal doesn't always, it's not like people are really excited about having to spend more for gasoline. But in the end, these investments are going to be made. They have to be made. But the question is whether we're going to make them now or we're going to wait a decade or two and we see companies deciding to go elsewhere. Because the point is, companies like Pat's have choices. There are airports all over the country that would like to see those jobs. There are businesses all over the country who would like to be in, they want to be where the investment in infrastructure is world class. So what we have proven here today is we understand the value of investing in the human capital. The transportation network, the longer runway without the human capital doesn't do any good. But the human capital without the infrastructure to support the bigger planes, that's a squandered opportunity. And so what I'm asking all of you, let's look at the big picture here. Let's take the long road. And let's recognize that by investing in the human capital in the outstanding way that Delaware Tech does, when we combine that with the world-class infrastructure, we're just going to see more and more jobs, which is exactly what Democrats and Republicans alike want to see. Thank you so much for having me today. To Lonnie, to Ileana, to the entire Delaware Tech team. You have something to be very, very proud of here. I really do believe that people all over the country are going to be looking at this building and what this building represents for all the new employees that will be hired in the Delaware aviation industry. This is a model, and congratulations for pulling it off.
Thank you so much, Governor. Our next speaker understands that you must invest in human capital. In order to develop jobs, you need to develop people through education. Please welcome Delaware's Economic Development Cabinet Secretary, Alan Levin.
Well, good morning, Sussex County. It is a pleasure to be here. Every time I come to Sussex, the sun is shining. It's not because of my personality. And it is even better not to see snow. For those of you who have been in Kent and Newcastle County, we woke up this morning to another 2 inches in Newcastle County. I think at my house there's 17 inches on the ground. And as I came across from into Milford and saw what I saw or didn't see, I said, this is the way it's supposed to be. So anyway, to the governor and to our friends at DelDOT, I want to thank them for the job they have done over a very, very difficult year. My friend Shaylin Batt has just been remarkable when you get right down to it in keeping us safe and keeping our streets clear. I just hope for your sake, Governor, and for all of us that it's over. And if it's not, I'm moving to Sussex. So anyway, you know, back in 2009 is when you all started aircraft maintenance here. And I was privileged to meet with Lonnie and Eliana over a year ago, and they said to me, we need the power frame. Now, I truthfully didn't know. They kept saying they needed A and P, and I thought that was Atlantic and Pacific, the grocery store, and they said, no, we need power frame. And I said, well, what's the difference between aircraft maintenance and power frame? Well, I learned and I found out what it was. And I realized at that point in time that the most important thing we could do was to complete what had begun in 2009. And today is the completion of that. And for me, I have been charged with the responsibility of thanking the companies and the individuals that have been behind this. And there have been literally hundreds that have been behind it. But for the most important individuals, the ones that had the vision, the ones that had the drive, the determination, that is Dr. George and Dr. Smith and the faculty of this program. They're the ones who wouldn't take no for an answer. They pushed us hard. They said, make this happen. And I remember sitting with Dr. George at a lunch, sitting next to him at a lunch in Stanton. And I said to him, Lonnie, I think I know where we're going to get this money. And he said, where's that going to come from? And I said, the infrastructure fund. And he said, well, I'm not sure that it fits that. And I said, well, first of all, the members of the infrastructure committee, Senator Venables, at that time, Representative Keeley, Mike Ratchford, and Shaylin Batt, all were willing to look and decide that. And the most important type of infrastructure in my life is not the machines, it's not the bridges, it's not anything else. It's people. That's the infrastructure that builds Delaware. That's why this happened. And to you, Lonnie, to you, Eliana, to your faculty here at this facility, that's what turned us. It was their commitment, it was their drive, and it was the students and what they brought to the table that make this so, so important to both Sussex County and to Delaware. Now, a number of companies have participated in this, and certainly you heard the governor speak of several of them. Pat's Aircraft. Pat's is a neighbor here. When John Martin came over this morning, he brought a cake, a welcoming gift to them. You know, John has just done an amazing job at Pat's. And a couple years ago, we were concerned that we might lose them. Not only did we not lose them, they increased their commitment to Delaware and, more importantly, to Sussex County. Dassault Falcon up in Newcastle. Sussex Aero, which is here. Summit Aviation in Middletown, Shoreman Spraying, Coastal Aerospace, Hawker Beechcraft, Flight Safety, GE Aviation. These are all examples of a burgeoning aerospace industry in Delaware. For a small state to have all of these things is nothing short of amazing. And the best part is that these industries continue to grow. They're not shrinking. They're getting bigger and bigger, and it's because of the talent that Del Tech is putting out on a daily basis. Now, the governor spoke about the expansion of the runway here. That's only one of the things that are going on. The expansion of the runway at Georgetown is critical to the success and growth of Pat's aircraft. But more importantly than that, it's critical to the students. In addition, the cargo ramp at Dover Air Force Base. We continue to work on that to make that a better facility, not only for parking aircraft, but for servicing aircraft, and these individuals will have jobs there as a result of it. Lastly, I'd like to make note of the Delaware River Bay Authority and their efforts at what they are terming now the Wilmington-Philadelphia Regional Airport. That facility is continuing to grow. We now have carriers coming in from Frontier servicing 5 cities. I think, is it 6 now, Scott, or is it 5? 5 cities out of Wilmington. That's a big deal. That is something that they are seeing success for, and that's what they're going to need graduates from this program for. So for us at DIDO, and by the way, this I do want to correct Dr. George, and I don't do this often, and I do it with some trepidation, but I want it to be known that these funds didn't come from DIDO. The funds came from the New Jobs Infrastructure Fund, which was a creation of the governor and the General Assembly 3 years ago. $55 million were put aside for that fund. That's where it came from. Their wisdom, their leadership, their drive made this happen. So with that, I thank you for allowing me to play just a small part in this day. This is a great day. To the Freemans, thank you for what you all have done. And all I can say is this is probably a corny way to end it, but this industry is really taking off in Delaware. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan. An instructional facility needs equipment to bring learning to life. As Dr. George explained, our congressional delegation provided essential support for the federal grants that we received to buy the equipment that you see here today. Senator Coons regrets that he could not be with us, and he sends his best wishes. But with us here today is Delaware's Congressman John Carney. Please welcome him.
Thank you, Ileana, and good morning to all of you. It's a real privilege for me and a pleasure to be here representing the whole congressional delegation. It's seldom the case that I'm here alone. It's more often that we are here, all three of us, Senator Carper, Senator Coons, and I know both of them would be here this morning if they can, because this airport, this project and this airport in particular is one of our priority projects for both our senators and for my office as well. We work very hard communicating with the state, with the businesses here, and with the county. And so on behalf of the delegation, I want to express my thanks and appreciation for this partnership. To the governor and his team for their leadership, to the legislators, my friends who are here, for your support, to the members of county council and the county administrators and former county administrators who have driven this project for a lot of years. This is the way it's supposed to work. In the Congress, we have a term that says, I'd like to associate myself with so-and-so's remarks. I'd like to associate myself with the remarks of our governor, because in my view, he hit it exactly right in terms of what the roles of the respective levels of government ought to be, the fact that we are constantly talking and communicating with businesses and their needs, and that we're working on the workforce development and infrastructure funding piece of it. That's our job on behalf of the citizens of our state and the businesses that we represent. And I don't think there's a place in the country, frankly, that gets it like Delaware does. You know, there's a term that's in some ways been belittled lately as called the Delaware Way. Well, those of us who understand really how the Delaware Way understands that this project is really what the Delaware Way is all about. And the involvement of the congressional delegation in this project is the way it's supposed to be. As I said, some of these funds predate my service. In fact, there's been mention of the extension of the runway from 5,000 feet to 5,500 feet. That's been accomplished under Senator Carper, Senator Biden, or Coughlin, not sure which, and Congressman Castle, my predecessor. The funds for the training and the equipment funds for this project were part of the work of Senator Carper, Senator Kaufman, probably Congressman Castle. I'm here kind of late to take the credit for the delegation and to represent them. But my involvement in this project goes back a long way, which is what makes me one of the things that makes me so happy to be here today. I remember in 2004, the HR director at PATS came to meet me in my office in Dover when I was lieutenant governor. And what she said to me kind of astounded me, which was, we have several hundred positions there at PATS. They make this kind of salary, but they're really highly technical jobs. We can't find people to fill the openings that we have. I think it was 60 at the time. And we'd like to expand the number of people that we have there by 100 or more if we could have some confidence that we could get the trained personnel. And so since that time, a lot of people, primarily the people at Delaware Tech, and President George, I'd like to associate myself with the governor's remarks with respect to your long service here in our state, both as a legislator in the district that I live, and as the leader of Delaware Technical and Community College, and for your incredible staff. Went to work to put these two programs together in the airframe and now the powerhouse, the engine maintenance product, to generate those young people that have the skills so that PATS can expand and so that they can go to work in the other aviation facilities here in our state. I have a lot of time to think about the challenges that we face here in Delaware and as a nation as I travel back and forth on the train to Washington. And the thing that worries me the most, the thing that keeps me up at night and that keeps me up as I drive the train, it's easy to fall asleep on the train, and I know Senator Carper and Senator Coons feel the same way, is where are the jobs going to come from to provide opportunities for Sussex Countyans to go away, get trained, and come back and live here, not at home maybe, but somewhere else, and all across Delaware, are the future going to come from? Many of us believe that high-tech manufacturing, whether it's in aviation, in aeronautics, or other kinds of manufacturing, is that future. And if we're going to have that future, we've got to make the investments in workforce development. We have to make those investments in infrastructure. So here in Delaware, we're doing it right. And on behalf of the delegation, Senator Carper and Senator Coons, I want to thank and congratulate all of you, from the governor and his team, to Lonnie and your team, to the legislators who are sitting behind you and the county officials who are here, to the businesses at PAT, all the people, the young people who've been through the program. This is the way it's supposed to work, and we're making it work in Delaware. And finally, to the Freeman family, thank you for the example of your loved one and friends that will carry the name of this building into the future. This is the way it's supposed to work, and we're proud to be part of it. God bless you.
Senator Carper could not be here, but he did send a video message.
Hello, everybody. I'm Tom Carper, and while I'm very sorry that I can't be there with all of you in Georgetown today to participate in this dedication ceremony for the Theodore C. Freeman Powerplant Education Building, I am thrilled that this new facility is opening its doors. In doing so, it opens the doors to world-class training and to fruitful careers in aircraft maintenance for students, not just now, but for years to come. This dedication represents the best of federal and local government working together, with Sussex County donating the land and hangar and the federal grant that makes the power plant program possible. Along with Vice President Biden, former Governor Mike Castle, and former Senator Ted Kaufman, I worked hard to make the Sussex County Airport an economic driver for southern Delaware. There is great potential to attract more aviation-related businesses. A prime talent pool will certainly help to propel them here quicker. I wasn't fortunate enough to meet Teddy Freeman before he died, but we share a love for Delaware and a love for aviation. I'm an old naval flight officer, retired Navy captain, so I'm happy to play a small part in dedicating this building with his name that will help many more Delawareans and Delawarean transplants to further their careers and love for working around the aircraft. All right, congratulations, everybody. I look forward to seeing all of you again soon. Take care. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. And let us now turn to the second part of the program, which is the naming of the building. From ideas to reality, the development of the aviation maintenance program has been an incredibly exciting journey, a journey that pushed the envelope, a journey that required faith, hard work, big dreams, and staying the course. It is so fitting to forever capture that spirit by naming this building the Theodore C. Freeman Building. We'll tell you about the life of that exceptional man after the ribbon cutting. So at this time, Governor, President George, Chairman Stellini, Trustee Owens, and all elected state and elected county officials, please come forward to cut the ribbon.
If Senator Carper was here, we'd have a countdown. So I'm going to, as a member of the delegation, I'm going to start it at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thank you. Our journey into aviation maintenance education has had many firsts. And next is another first, a virtual unveiling of the Ted Freeman wall. Did you notice a white curtain on the wall as you came in the doors? Let me get this thing right. All right, we will remove that curtain outside the doors, but we're going to allow you to stay seated here and to see on the screen the magnificent tribute to a truly great man. So, curtain, please. The people who study, work, and visit this building will know Ted Freeman. Today would have been Ted's 84th birthday. When he was 1 year old, Ted's family moved to Lewis, where he grew up during World War II, hanging around the Rehoboth Airport, interacting with anyone in aviation. He saved money not for candy and movies, but for airplane rides. Ted and his best friend, Joe Hudson, began piloting airplanes with no official license to fly. During high school, Ted and Joe worked as spotter pilots, searching for schools of menhaden in the Delaware Bay and dropping bottles to fishing boats below in order to tell them the location of the fish. It was Senator John J. Williams who nominated Ted for the United States Naval Academy. In 1948, Ted graduated from Lewis High School and went on to graduate from the Naval Academy in 1953. On the very afternoon of graduation, Ted married Faith Clark. Ted and Faith had one child, their daughter Faith. Ted chose to enter the United States Air Force, where he was a fighter pilot, a flight test engineer, and an instructor. Ted was promoted to first lieutenant, and he learned to fly F-87 fighter jets and the supersonic F-100 Super Sabres. He served 3 years in foreign service as a tactical air command fighter pilot. Next followed a master's degree in aeronautical engineering, promotion to captain, and graduation as one of the first graduates of aerospace school at Edwards Air Force Base in California. It was in October of 1963 that Ted was selected as one of the 14 astronauts for Projects Gemini and Apollo. These were the astronauts called upon to plant the stars and stripes upon the moon. Ted trained in Houston, Texas, and he was assigned to the Apollo branch headed by Gordon Cooper, along with Buzz Aldrin, Gene Cernan, and Alan Bean. It was on a routine flight of his T-38A Talon jet that a snow goose smashed into the plane, sending plexiglass into both engines and making them fail. In order to avoid crashing into homes, Captain Freeman remained in the plane until he was too low for the parachute to fully deploy. This unselfish act cost him his life. His funeral in Houston and burial in Arlington National Cemetery was the last occasion in history when all 28 astronauts were together. It is considered virtually certain that Captain Freeman would have flown to and walked on the moon. And it is Ted Freeman's legacy that we're entrusted with today through the naming of this wonderful educational facility for the men and women who will do the all-important job of maintaining and repairing aircraft. We want all to see the beautiful parallel that we see between the college mission of giving hope and opportunity for students to work hard, stay the course, and achieve their goals, and the inspiring legacy of a local boy who reached beyond the stars on the wings of his dream. The college would like to present special keepsakes to Ted's daughter Faith and his best friend Joe. Faith and Joe, please come forward with President George, Chairman of the Board Stellini, and Trustee Owens. Please come forward. We have a framed print of the wall mural for each of them, and here is one of them.
Yeah, I've been waiting for a knee replacement for a year, and I've just been informed that as people die, I move up on the list.
Thank you. This very special wall mural is captured in booklet form, and we have one for each of you as you walk out this room. A few final thank yous are in order. Thanks to the information provided by Joe Hudson, Ted's family, and many other gracious sources, including Colin Burgess, Hazel Brittingham, and the Lewis Historical Society. The college marketing team, assisted by Jason Bentley and Leanne Phillips Lowe, compiled the content for the wall mural. And I must single out an incredibly talented graphic artist who created the mural design, our Owens Campus Marketing Operations Manager, Tom Byrne. He'll kill me, but I want him to please stand and be recognized. And we again proudly recognize our entire Delaware Tech team. We thank you all for making today a reality. And we thank all of you in attendance. You are our partners, you are supporters, and you are our friends. I think we can all feel the special bond that we all share. Thank you for your trust in Delaware Tech. Thank you for making today a truly memorable occasion. And in the language of aviation friends, the college wishes you blue skies ahead. This concludes our program segment of the event, and please allow me to give you directions for what's next. We invite all of you for tours and lunch. The dining room for our luncheon is located in our building across the street in the big hangar space in the back of the building. And we have aviation maintenance students in the rooms and labs in both buildings. So lunch is ready and the students are ready. So we invite you to explore the buildings and, proceed to lunch. You can choose whatever order you would like to fit your schedule best. Thank you again.